It shaped queens, broke ribs, and defined centuries of fashion. The corset is more than just a piece of clothing. It's a symbol of beauty, control, and rebellion. But where did it come from? Why did women, and sometimes men, suffer to wear it? And how did this controversial garment go from status symbol to feminist battleground and back into fashion again? Get ready to uncover the surprising truth behind the corset, its rise, fall, and unexpected return. When we think of corsets, we often picture tight-laced Victorian ladies fainting on couches. But the corset story begins centuries earlier, in a place few would expect, the battlefield. In the Middle Ages, both men and women wore a type of garment called a stomacher or pair of bodies, made with rigid materials to shape the torso. These early corsets were closer to armor than lingerie, designed for posture, not seduction. As time moved on, especially during the Renaissance, the corset became a tool of fashion and class. In royal courts, a narrow waist symbolized wealth, beauty, and control. The tighter the corset, the higher the status. But the corset wasn't just about looking good. It reflected a society obsessed with order and structure. A woman's body had to be as controlled and disciplined as her behavior. By the 16th century, whalebone and metal were introduced into corset design, allowing for more dramatic shaping. It was no longer just support, it was sculpture. The corset had begun its transformation from hidden structure to cultural icon. The 19th century marked the golden age of the corset, and its most controversial era. In Victorian society, a woman's waistline defined her worth. A 16-inch waist wasn't just admired, it was expected. Women of every class laced themselves tightly, chasing the hourglass figure that symbolized purity, elegance, and control. But this pursuit came at a cost. Corsets could shift organs, restrict breathing, and even cause fainting spells. Tight lacing became a dangerous trend, and doctors began warning of health consequences. Still, the ideal was irresistible. Corsets were now made with steel boning and tighter lacing systems. They were worn from girlhood to adulthood, shaping the female body both physically and socially. And yet, some women embraced them. They saw corsets as empowering, a way to display discipline and dignity. Others wore them with pride, flaunting their silhouettes in defiance of their critics. Fashion magazines, etiquette guides, and even furniture designs all revolved around the corseted form. The corset wasn't just an undergarment, it was a cultural command. As the 20th century approached, so did a new wind of change. Not everyone accepted the tight grip of the corset, literally or figuratively. The women's rights movement began gaining momentum. Activists argued that corsets were not only harmful to health, but symbols of oppression. Clothing reformers promoted looser garments and rational dress, challenging the rigid standards of the Victorian ideal. In 1908, the suffragettes marched not only for the vote, but for comfort. The corset became a battlefield for freedom, with women demanding the right to breathe, move, and exist on their own terms. Meanwhile, designers like Paul Poiret began creating fashion that didn't require corsets at all. The silhouette softened. Dresses began to flow. For the first time in centuries, women could walk out of the house without being laced into a cage. And for many it felt revolutionary, but the corset wasn't completely gone, it simply evolved. As fashion adapted, so did the tools of shaping the body. The corset never truly disappeared, it transformed. By the mid-20th century, fashion had shifted. Girdles and brassieres replaced the traditional corset, offering new ways to sculpt the body, this time with elastic and modern fabrics. But the idea remained: control, contour, and curves. Then, in the late 20th century, something unexpected happened. The corset made a comeback, but not hidden under gowns. This time, it was out in the open. Designers like Vivienne Westwood and Jean-Paul Gaultier reimagined the corset as high fashion and rebellion. Think of Madonna in the iconic cone bra corset of the 1990s. Suddenly, a garment once meant to suppress became a symbol of power, sexuality, and style. No longer a tool of conformity, the corset became a statement, a bold reclaiming of the female form. Whether worn over clothes, under jackets, or redesigned entirely, the corset entered a new era, one where it could mean whatever the wearer wanted it to mean. From royal courts to modern catwalks, the corset has never been just a piece of clothing. It's been a symbol of status, of beauty, of control, and rebellion. What began as a rigid structure to shape the body turned into a powerful fashion statement, evolving with society's changing views on femininity, freedom, and identity. Today, the corset isn't about forcing yourself into a mold. It's about choosing how you want to shape your own story, and maybe that's the true beauty of it. Fashion changes, power shifts, but the corset remains, laced into history. Love curious fashion history? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a twist in time. And tell us in the comments, would you wear a corset today?